The great halls of the imperial palace on the capital world of Cyrronus echoed with the sonorous voice of the High Chancellor as he delivered a momentous announcement to the assembled representatives of the Empire's member worlds and subject species. Citizens of the Galactic Empire, hear these words carefully, the Chancellor proclaimed, his piercing gaze sweeping across the packed chamber. The planet known as Earth in the distant Milky Way galaxy is hereby declared off-limits to all Imperial vessels and personnel. Any unauthorized entry into the Earth system will be met with the full military force of the Empire. This is your only warning. A murmur of confusion and concern rippled through the audience. Earth was an obscure, backwater world that had long been overlooked by the vast, sprawling civilization of the Galactic Empire. Why would the mighty imperial government suddenly care so much about this insignificant planet? The Chancellor raised a hand, silencing the whispers. The reasons for this declaration are matters of the highest imperial security. We cannot risk the disruption or compromise of vital imperial interests. Disobedience will be met with the harshest of consequences. The warning stands: stay away from Earth. With that, the Chancellor concluded his address and swept from the chamber, leaving the bewildered representatives to ponder the gravity of his words. In the days that followed, the news of the Empire's ultimatum spread like wildfire through the galactic communication networks. Speculation and theories ran rampant as to what could possibly motivate the imperial government to issue such a stern and unprecedented warning. Some hypothesized that Earth harbored a rare or unique resource that the Empire wished to keep under its exclusive control. Others suggested that the planet might conceal an ancient artifact or technological secret that the Empire feared could fall into the wrong hands. There were even whispers of a dark, clandestine experiment or research project being conducted on Earth, one that the Empire dared not risk exposing to the wider galaxy. Amidst the growing intrigue, a small group of daring explorers and adventurers began to hatch a plan. They were individuals who thrived on the thrill of the unknown, who chafed at the rigid constraints of imperial authority. The warning issued by the Chancellor only served to pique their curiosity further. "There's something they're hiding on that backwater planet," said Zara, a seasoned pilot with a reputation for bold, risky maneuvers. "And I, for one, aim to find out what it is." Her companions, a motley crew of scientists, mechanics, and former imperial officers, nodded in agreement. They had all heard the stories of the wealth and fame that could await those who uncovered groundbreaking discoveries, especially those that threatened to upset the delicate balance of power within the galaxy. But the Chancellor was clear, cautioned Harkus, a cautious but brilliant strategist. Any unauthorized entry into the Earth system will be met with the full force of the Empire. We'd be risking everything. Zara flashed a confident grin. Then we'll just have to make sure we don't get caught, won't we? The plan took shape over the course of several clandestine meetings. They would need a fast, heavily modified starship capable of evading Imperial sensors and patrols. They would also need to carefully gather intelligence and plan their route to ensure they could reach Earth and return without drawing unwanted attention. It was a bold and dangerous gambit, but the lure of unraveling the Empire's secrets proved too tempting for the determined explorers. As they finalized their preparations, a palpable sense of excitement and trepidation filled the air. "Once we pass through the outer perimeter, there's no turning back," Harkus warned. "Are you all sure you're ready for this?" One by one, the crew members nodded, their eyes alight with a mixture of fear and determination. They knew the risks, but the promise of uncovering the truth about Earth, and perhaps even challenging the might of the Galactic Empire itself, was too alluring to resist. With a deep breath, Zara fired up the engines of their modified starship, and the small, daring expedition set off on its forbidden voyage to the mysterious planet known as Earth. The small, heavily modified starship sliced through the vast expanse of space, its sleek design and advanced propulsion systems allowing it to evade the prodding sensors of the Galactic Empire's patrols. Aboard the vessel, the crew of daring explorers kept a constant vigilance, their nerves taut with the knowledge that a single misstep could spell their doom. Zara, the fearless pilot, guided the ship through a labyrinth of asteroid fields and nebulae, her reflexes honed to a razor's edge after years of navigating the treacherous lanes of the galaxy. Beside her, Harkis pored over the navigational charts, his brow furrowed in concentration as he plotted a course that would keep them safely out of the Empire's reach. In the cramped living quarters, the rest of the crew, a diverse group of scientists, technicians, and former Imperial officers, tried to occupy their minds, each grappling with the weight of their decision to defy the Galactic Chancellor's stern warning. "Are we sure this is worth the risk?" Jana, the ship's chief engineer, murmured as she tinkered with the ship's systems. "The Empire doesn't make idle threats. If they catch us, we'll be lucky to see the inside of a brig, let alone the surface of that backwater planet." Rojan, a seasoned xenobiologist, placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "We've come too far to turn back now. There's something on that planet, something the Empire doesn't want us to know. Aren't you the least bit curious?" Jaina sighed, her fingers pausing on the control panel. "Of course I am. But curiosity won't save us from the Empire's wrath." The journey to the distant Milky Way galaxy seemed to stretch on for an eternity, the crew's resolve tested by the monotony of the voyage and the ever-present fear of discovery. They spoke in hushed whispers, sharing theories and speculations about the nature of the warning and the secrets that might await them on Earth. As they approached the solar system, the crew began to detect strange energy readings and anomalies that piqued their interest. Sensors detected powerful electromagnetic fields, bursts of radiation, and disturbances in the fabric of space-time, phenomena that defied easy explanation. "What in the galaxy is going on down there?" Harkis murmured, his eyes fixed on the readouts. Zara's grip tightened on the ship's controls, her knuckles turning white. "I don't know, but we're about to find out." With a deep breath, she guided the ship into the outer edges of the solar system, their approach cloaked by the interference of the strange energy readings. The crew leaned forward, their eyes trained on the view screen as the familiar blue and green orb of Earth came into focus. "By the stars," Rojan breathed, his voice tinged with awe. "It's even more breathtaking than the report suggested." The planet's diverse landscapes, swirling cloud patterns, and shimmering motions captivated the crew, who had grown accustomed to the sterile, industrialized worlds of the Galactic Empire. This was a world teeming with life, a vibrant tapestry of natural wonders that stood in stark contrast to the controlled and ordered existence they had known. "Sensors are picking up numerous signs of intelligent life," Harkis reported, his fingers dancing across the console. "Vast cities, complex infrastructure, and energy signatures that suggest a thriving civilization." Zara's brow furrowed. "But the Empire has always treated this planet as a backwater, a place of little importance. Why would they care so much about it now?" The crew exchanged troubled glances, the weight of their decision bearing down on them. They had come too far to turn back, and the allure of unraveling the mystery of Earth's significance was too strong to ignore. With a determined nod, Zora guided the ship towards a suitable landing site, their approach hidden from the watchful gaze of the Imperial patrols. As they descended, the crew braced themselves for their first encounter with the inhabitants of this enigmatic world, the mysterious species known as humans. What secrets did this planet hold? And why were the rulers of the Galactic Empire so eager to keep it isolated and off-limits? The answers, it seemed, were about to be revealed. The small, cloaked starship descended silently through the wispy clouds, its advanced sensors scanning the surface of the planet for a suitable landing site. The crew of daring explorers leaned forward in their seats, their hearts pounding with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. Zara's fingers danced across the controls, guiding the ship with the precision of a master pilot. "Sensors are clear. I'm setting us down in a remote area, away from any signs of human habitation." As the ship touched down on the lush, verdant landscape, the crew quickly donned their protective environmental suits, ensuring they could safely breathe the alien atmosphere. Harkis, the seasoned strategist, took a deep, steadying breath. Remember, we're just here to observe and gather information. Any direct contact with the natives could have disastrous consequences, both for us and for them. The others nodded solemnly, understanding the gravity of the situation. Yet, the allure of the unknown was too strong to resist. As the airlock cycled open, they stepped out onto the surface of the strange, wondrous world known as Earth. The first thing that struck the explorers was the incredible diversity of life all around them. Towering trees, vibrant flowers, and strange, exotic creatures unlike anything they had encountered in the Galactic Empire. The air was filled with the chirping of unseen creatures and the rustling of leaves in a gentle breeze. Fascinating, Rojan murmured, his eyes wide with wonder as he scanned the alien ecosystem. The biosphere of this planet is remarkably complex and resilient. As the crew ventured cautiously through the lush, untamed landscape, they soon encountered the first signs of intelligent life, small bipedal creatures with pale skin and peculiar features. The humans, as they were called, seemed both fascinated and terrified by the arrival of the strange, armored beings. Harkis raised a hand in a gesture of peace, hoping to convey their peaceful intentions. "We mean you no harm," he said in a calm, measured tone, projecting his voice as best he could through the suit's translator. The humans, initially recoiling in fear, slowly began to approach the explorers, their expressions a mix of curiosity and trepidation. A young female, with long, dark hair, took a tentative step forward, her eyes wide with awe. "What are you?" she asked in a trembling voice, her words translated by the ship's advanced communication systems. Rojan stepped forward, his hands held out in a placating gesture. "We are travelers from a distant part of the galaxy. We mean you no harm, and we hope to learn more about your world and your people." The human girl seemed to ponder his words, her brow furrowing in concentration. After a moment, she turned and gestured to the others, who had begun to cautiously approach the strange, armored beings. "They say they are not here to hurt us," she announced, her voice growing steadier. "They want to learn about our world." A murmur of surprised chatter rippled through the small gathering of humans, their expressions shifting from fear to a cautious, growing interest. Slowly, they began to approach the explorers, their hands reaching out tentatively to touch the unfamiliar materials of the suits. Zara and the others remained still, allowing the humans to satisfy their curiosity, all the while carefully observing their behavior and interactions. It was clear that these beings, while technologically inferior to the Galactic Empire, possessed a remarkable resilience and adaptability. They seemed to have a strong sense of community and a deep connection to their natural environment, Harkis noted, his eyes scanning the crowd of humans. And their use of a common language suggests a level of social and cultural development that we did not expect. Rojan nodded in agreement. "Indeed. And their physical features and biology are quite different from the species we've encountered in the Empire. There is something unique and intriguing about these humans." As the initial trepidation slowly gave way to a growing sense of trust, the explorers began to engage in more direct communication with the humans, using simple gestures and the ship's translation software to convey their intentions. The humans, in turn, responded with a mix of curiosity, fear, and a cautious openness, their expressions shifting as they tried to understand the meaning behind the explorers' words and actions. It was the beginning of a delicate dance, a tentative first contact between two vastly different civilizations, one ancient and powerful, the other young and unknown. The fate of both, it seemed, now hung in the balance. As the explorers from the Galactic Empire continued their cautious interactions with the human inhabitants of Earth, they found themselves increasingly surprised and intrigued by the resilience and adaptability of this young, technologically inferior species. Zara, the daring pilot, watched with fascination as the humans navigated the challenges of their natural environment with an ingenuity and resourcefulness that defied the Empire's expectations. They fashioned tools and shelters from the materials around them, harnessing the power of fire and water to their advantage. These beings are far more capable than the Empire has ever given them credit for, she remarked to her companion, Harkis, as they observed a group of humans constructing a primitive but functional shelter. Their problem-solving skills and sheer determination are remarkable. Harkis nodded thoughtfully, his brow furrowed in concentration. Yes, and that is precisely what concerns me. If the Galactic Empire has gone to such lengths to isolate and contain this planet, there must be something about these humans that poses a threat to their dominance. The crew's initial trepidation slowly gave way to a growing respect and fascination for the human species. They marveled at the humans' ability to adapt to their diverse environments, their intricate social structures, and their capacity for innovation and discovery. Rojan, the xenobiologist, was particularly enthralled by the humans' unique physiology and the incredible resilience of their immune systems. These beings possess an astonishing capacity for survival and healing, he reported to the others. Their bodies are able to withstand a wide range of environmental stresses and recover from even the most severe injuries. As the explorers delved deeper into their observations and interactions with the humans, they began to uncover subtle yet profound differences between this species and the highly regimented, industrialized civilizations of the Galactic Empire. The humans displayed a fierce protectiveness of their home and their loved ones, a quality that the explorers found both admirable and unsettling. They are not mere subjects to be controlled, Zora murmured, watching as a group of humans fiercely defended their settlement from a perceived threat. There is a spark of defiance and independence in them that I have not seen in the citizens of the Empire. Harkis sighed, his gaze contemplative. And therein lies the problem. The Galactic Empire does not tolerate such displays of autonomy or dissent. If these humans were to discover the true extent of their potential, they could pose a formidable challenge to the Empire's dominance. The explorers found themselves increasingly torn between their loyalty to the imperial government and their growing admiration for the human species. They had been sent to this world with the expectation of simply observing and reporting back, but as they delved deeper into the mysteries of Earth, they began to question the Empire's true motivations. Why had the Galactic Chancellor issued such a stern warning about this insignificant planet? What dark secrets did the Empire seek to conceal, and why were they so determined to keep the humans isolated and under their control? There is more to this than mere resource extraction or technological advancement. Rojan mused, his eyes narrowing. The Empire fears these humans, and the reason why is deeply troubling. As the explorers wrestled with these troubling revelations, they realized that the fate of the human species, and perhaps even the future of the Galactic Empire itself, now rested in their hands. They had a choice to make: continue their deception and maintain the status quo, or risk everything to reveal the truth and empower the humans to challenge the imperial order. The decision would not be an easy one, but the explorers knew that the consequences of their actions would reverberate across the galaxy, shaping the course of history for generations to come. As the explorers from the Galactic Empire delved deeper into their observations and interactions with the human inhabitants of Earth, they found themselves increasingly troubled by the implications of what they had uncovered. Zara, the daring pilot, pored over the ship's extensive data archives, searching for any information that might shed light on the Empire's true motivations for isolating this insignificant world. Harkis, the cautious strategist, engaged in hushed conversations with the other members of the crew, weighing the risks and potential consequences of revealing the truth to the humans. The Galactic Chancellor's warning was not a benevolent act, Harkis said, his voice low and serious. There is more to this than simply protecting the humans from the outside world. The Empire fears them, and for good reason. Rojan, the xenobiologist, nodded solemnly. Yes, and the evidence we gathered suggests that the Empire's fear is not without merit. These humans possess a remarkable resilience and adaptive capacity that could, if harnessed, pose a significant threat to the Empire's dominance. The explorers had uncovered disturbing patterns in the Imperial archives, accounts of ancient civilizations that had been subjugated or even destroyed by the Galactic Empire in its relentless pursuit of power and control. The Empire, it seemed, had little tolerance for independent, defiant cultures that refused to submit to its authority. The humans' fierce protectiveness of their home and their loved ones, their ingenuity in the face of adversity. It all points to a potential for greatness that the Empire cannot abide. Harkis murmured, his brow furrowed in concern. Zara's grip tightened on the datapad she was holding, her knuckles turning white. Then the warning to stay away from Earth was not an act of benevolence, but a calculated attempt to prevent these humans from ever discovering the extent of their own potential. The realization weighed heavily on the explorers, who now found themselves caught between their loyalty to the Galactic Empire and their growing respect and admiration for the human species. They knew that revealing the truth could have devastating consequences, both for themselves and for the humans they had sworn to protect. If we share this information with the humans, it could spark a revolution that could shatter the very foundations of the Empire, Harkis warned, his eyes grave. And the Imperial response would be swift and merciless. Rojan nodded, his expression troubled. But if we remain silent, we become complicit in the Empire's deception and the continued subjugation of these remarkable beings. Can we in good conscience continue to withhold the truth? The explorers wrestled with the weight of their decision, the fate of two civilizations hanging in the balance. They knew that whatever course of action they chose, the repercussions would reverberate across the galaxy, potentially altering the course of history forever. After long hours of debate and agonizing deliberation, the explorers reached a consensus. They would share their findings with the humans, hoping to ignite a spark of defiance and self-determination that could challenge the might of the Galactic Empire. "It is a risk we must take," Zara said, her eyes reflecting a newfound determination. These humans deserve to know the truth, and they deserve the chance to shape their own destiny, free from the Empire's oppressive rule. With a heavy heart, the explorers began to discreetly communicate their discoveries to the human leaders, sharing the darkest secrets of the Galactic Empire and the true reasons behind the warning to stay away from Earth. They knew that the consequences of their actions would be severe, but they were driven by a growing conviction that the fate of the human species was worth the gamble. As the news of the Empire's deception spread through the human communities, a wave of outrage and determination swept across the planet. The humans, once wary and distrustful of the strange armored beings, now saw them as allies in the fight for their freedom and autonomy. The stage was set for a galactic showdown, one that would pit the might of the Galactic Empire against the unexpected, untapped potential of the human species. The future of both civilizations hung in the balance, and the explorers found themselves at the heart of the conflict, their loyalties forever divided. With the weight of their newfound knowledge heavy upon their shoulders, the explorers from the Galactic Empire faced a critical decision: to continue their deception and maintain the status quo, or to reveal the truth to the human inhabitants of Earth and risk the wrath of the Imperial government. After much deliberation, they chose the latter course of action, driven by a growing sense of moral obligation and a newfound respect for the human species and their potential. Zara, the daring pilot, took the lead in sharing the explorers' findings with the human leaders, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "The Galactic Empire has deceived you," she said, her words translated by the ship's advanced communication systems. "They have kept you isolated and under their control, fearing the threat your species poses to their dominance." The human leaders, initially skeptical, were shocked and outraged as the explorers revealed the Empire's history of subjugation and the true reasons behind the warning to stay away from Earth. They listened with rapt attention as the explorers described the resilience, ingenuity, and fierce protective instincts of the human species, qualities that the Empire saw as a threat to their power. "You mean to tell us that we are more than just a backwater, insignificant planet?" a young human woman asked, her eyes wide with a mixture of disbelief and dawning hope. "That we possess a potential that the mighty Galactic Empire fears." Harkis, The cautious strategist nodded solemnly. Yes, that is precisely what we have discovered. The Empire views your species as a potential challenge to their authority, and they have gone to great lengths to keep you isolated and under their control. As the news of the Empire's deception spread across the planet, a wave of anger and determination swept through the human communities. Inspired by the explorers' warning and the knowledge of their own potential, the humans began to organize resistance movements and underground networks, determined to assert their independence and protect their homeworld. Zara watched with a mixture of pride and trepidation as the humans rallied to the cause. They are truly a remarkable species, she murmured to Harkis. But the price of their awakening may be high. Harkis nodded, his expression grave. Indeed, the Empire will not take kindly to this uprising, and they will not hesitate to crush it with the full force of their military might. The explorers, now considered traitors by the imperial government, found themselves caught in the middle of a burgeoning conflict, their loyalties forever divided. They knew that they had set in motion a chain of events that could potentially shatter the very foundations of the Galactic Empire, and the consequences of their actions would be severe. Yet, they could not bring themselves to regret their decision. The humans' newfound determination and the knowledge of their true potential had ignited a spark within the explorers, a sense of hope and possibility that they had not felt in their decades of service to the Empire. As the human resistance grew stronger and more organized, the explorers worked tirelessly to aid their newfound allies, using their insider knowledge to sabotage the Empire's efforts and provide crucial support to the burgeoning rebellion. We may have set in motion the downfall of the Galactic Empire, Rojan mused, his eyes filled with a mixture of trepidation and resolve. But if the humans succeed in asserting their independence, it may be the dawn of a new era of true freedom and self-determination across the galaxy. The stage was set for a momentous showdown, one that would determine the fate of both the human species and the Galactic Empire. The explorers, once loyal servants of the imperial government, now found themselves firmly aligned with the cause of human liberation, their actions driven by a newfound belief in the power of the human spirit and the potential for a more just and equitable future. As the conflict loomed on the horizon, the explorers steeled themselves for the challenges that lay ahead, knowing that the outcome would shape the course of history for generations to come. The Galactic Empire, alarmed by the growing unrest on Earth and the betrayal of its own explorers, swiftly mobilized a massive fleet to the solar system, determined to crush the human uprising before it could gain further momentum. Zara and the other explorers watched with a mix of dread and determination as the Imperial vessels amassed in the void of space, their powerful weapons and advanced technology a stark contrast to the limited resources and primitive defenses of the human resistance. They intend to overwhelm us with sheer force, Harkis murmured, his brow furrowed in contemplation. But the humans have something the Empire cannot comprehend, an unbreakable will and a fierce determination to protect their home. As the first volleys of fire were exchanged, the battle erupted across the solar system, with both sides suffering heavy casualties. The humans, armed with the knowledge and technologies shared by the explorers, fought with a tenacity that surprised their imperial foes. Using their ingenuity and adaptability, the human resistance forces devised creative tactics to overcome the Empire's superior firepower. They launched daring strikes against Imperial supply lines, sabotaged key infrastructure, and even managed to disable several enemy vessels using a combination of guerrilla tactics and unexpected maneuvers. Rojan, the xenobiologist, observed the conflict with a mixture of awe and trepidation. "These humans are truly remarkable," he said to Zara, his eyes fixed on the unfolding battle. "Their resilience and determination in the face of such overwhelming odds is a testament to their potential." Zara nodded, her expression grim. "Yes, and it is precisely that potential that the Empire fears. They will stop at nothing to crush this uprising and maintain their dominance over the galaxy." The explorers, now fully committed to the human cause, used their insider knowledge to aid the resistance, providing crucial intelligence, strategic advice, and targeted sabotage to undermine the Empire's efforts. They knew that the fate of the Galactic Empire and the future of humanity hung in the balance, and they were determined to do everything in their power to tip the scales in favor of their newfound allies. As the battle raged on, the skies above Earth burned with the fury of the conflict, with both sides inflicting heavy casualties and suffering devastating losses. The human resistance fighters, bolstered by their newfound knowledge and the explorers' support, fought with a ferocity that belied their technological disadvantage. Harkis, his face etched with concern, monitored the battle's progress from the explorers' hidden command center. "The Empire is beginning to falter," he reported, his voice tense. "Their forces are stretched thin, and the humans are exploiting every weakness they can find." Zora's eyes narrowed, a glimmer of hope in her expression. "Then we must redouble our efforts. The moment of truth is at hand, and we cannot afford to lose." The conflict reached a critical juncture as both sides struggled to gain the upper hand. The Galactic Empire, facing the prospect of a prolonged and costly war, began to reconsider its strategy, torn between its desire to crush the human uprising and the realization that doing so might come at an unacceptable price. As the battle reached a stalemate, the two sides found themselves at an impasse, neither willing to back down despite the heavy toll the conflict had taken. The fate of the Galactic Empire and the future of humanity hung in the balance, with both sides forced to reevaluate their positions and consider the possibility of a negotiated settlement. The explorers, caught in the middle of this galactic showdown, braced themselves for the uncertain future that lay ahead, knowing that the outcome would have profound and far-reaching consequences for the entire galaxy. In the midst of the fierce galactic showdown between the Galactic Empire and the human resistance, a pivotal moment arose that would tip the scales in favor of the embattled defenders of Earth. Zara and the other explorers, their loyalties forever divided, watched with bated breath as the battle raged on above the blue and green orb they had come to admire and respect. The human resistance, bolstered by the knowledge and technologies shared by the explorers, had fought with an unwavering determination that surprised and confounded the Imperial forces. But the might of the Empire's vast military machine seemed impossible to overcome, and the human defenders were being pushed to the brink of defeat. Then, in a daring and audacious move, a team of human resistance fighters, guided by the explorers' intelligence, launched a raiding operation that struck at the heart of the Imperial fleet. Using a combination of stealth, cunning, and sheer bravery, the human team infiltrated the command and control center of the largest Imperial vessel, disabling its vital systems and sowing confusion among the enemy ranks. As the crippled Imperial flagship drifted helplessly, its weapons and defenses rendered useless, the human resistance seized the opportunity to unleash a devastating counterattack, pouring a relentless barrage of firepower upon the disoriented and disorganized Imperial forces. Harkis, his eyes fixed on the unfolding battle, let out a rare, triumphant exclamation. "They've done it. The humans have tipped the balance of power." Rojan, the xenobiologist, nodded gravely, his expression a mix of relief and concern. "Yes, but at what cost? The Empire will not take this lightly." Indeed, the Imperial leadership, faced with the unexpected and humiliating setback, began to reconsider their strategy, realizing that the human resistance was a far more formidable foe than they had anticipated. Zora, her gaze unwavering, watched as the tide of the battle turned in favor of the humans. "They've proven their worth, their determination, and their potential. The Empire can no longer ignore or dismiss them as mere primitives." The explorers, once loyal servants of the Imperial government, now found themselves firmly aligned with the cause of human liberation, their actions driven by a newfound belief in the power of the human spirit and the possibilities that lay ahead. As the conflict reached a stalemate, with both sides suffering heavy casualties and facing the prospect of a prolonged and costly war, the Imperial leadership began to reevaluate their options. The prospect of crushing the human uprising at such a high price was becoming increasingly untenable, and the realization that the humans posed a genuine threat to the Empire's dominance could no longer be ignored. Harkis, his brow furrowed in thought, turned to Zara and the others. The Empire is at a crossroads. They must either double down and risk the complete destruction of their forces, or they must consider the unthinkable, negotiating with the humans and acknowledging their sovereignty. Zara's eyes narrowed, a glimmer of hope sparking within her. Then perhaps, for the first time in the Empire's history, they will be forced to see the humans as equals, rather than mere subjects to be controlled. The explorers, their once unquestioning loyalty to the imperial government now irrevocably shattered, knew that the outcome of this galactic showdown would have profound and far-reaching consequences, not only for the human species, but for the entire fabric of the Galactic Empire itself. As the two sides reached an uneasy stalemate, the explorers braced themselves for the difficult negotiations and uncertain future that lay ahead, their resolve strengthened by the knowledge that they had played a pivotal role in awakening the human potential and challenging the hegemony of the mighty Galactic Empire. After the intense and grueling galactic showdown between the Galactic Empire and the human resistance, both sides were forced to the negotiating table, their once uncompromising positions now tempered by the realization that neither could achieve outright victory without the complete destruction of the other. Zara and the other explorers, who had played a pivotal role in igniting the human uprising, now found themselves in the position of intermediaries, tasked with bridging the gap between the two civilizations and paving the way for a lasting peace. The negotiations were arduous, with both sides stubbornly clinging to their demands and principles. The Empire, unwilling to relinquish its dominance, sought to maintain a degree of control over the human species, while the humans, emboldened by their hard-won victories, refused to accept anything less than full sovereignty and autonomy. Harkis, his brow furrowed in concentration, pored over the proposed terms, weighing the implications of each concession and compromise. "The Empire is reluctant to acknowledge the humans as equals," he murmured to Zara. "They fear that doing so would undermine the very foundations of their power." Zara nodded, a hint of defiance in her expression. "Then we must make them see that the humans' potential is not a threat, but an opportunity for both our civilizations to forge a new, mutually beneficial relationship." With the explorers' guidance and mediation, a breakthrough was eventually reached, and a new agreement was forged that recognized the sovereignty of Earth and the human species, while also establishing a framework for future cooperation and integration into the larger galactic community. The Galactic Empire, humbled by the tenacity and resilience of the human resistance, was forced to concede that these remarkable beings were not mere primitives to be subjugated, but rather a civilization worthy of respect and equal standing. Rojan, the xenobiologist, watched with a mix of pride and wonder as the two civilizations began to bridge the gap that had once separated them. The humans have proven their worth, not just to the Empire, but to the entire galaxy. Their potential is truly boundless. As the new era of cooperation and coexistence began to take shape, the explorers found themselves in high demand, their roles as intermediaries and ambassadors crucial to the success of the endeavor. They had gone from loyal servants of the Empire to respected interlocutors, helping to build the foundation for a more just and equitable future. Zara, her eyes reflecting the optimism of a new dawn, looked out over the bustling human settlements, now thriving in the wake of their hard-fought liberation. "The humans have taken their rightful place among the stars," she said, her voice tinged with a sense of wonder. "No longer confined to their home world, but now a respected and equal partner in the galactic community." Harkis nodded, his expression thoughtful. "Indeed, and the possibilities that lie ahead are both exciting and daunting. The human species has the potential to shape the course of galactic history in ways we could scarcely have imagined." As the explorers prepared to depart Earth, their mission now complete, they knew that the journey had only just begun. The dawn of a new era had arrived, one in which the human species would forge its own destiny, no longer shackled by the constraints of the Galactic Empire's oppressive rule. The story of the Galactic Empire's warning and the human uprising had become the stuff of legend, a testament to the power of determination, resilience, and the indomitable spirit of a young civilization that had defied the odds and claimed its rightful place among the stars. And as the explorer's starship rose into the heavens, they knew that their actions had set in motion a chain of events that would reverberate through the galaxy for generations to come, shaping the future of both the human species and the Galactic Empire itself.